It is Ding Junhui then to start this second semi-final. He played very well against Karen Wilson. I mean, Wilson was really confident, playing good stuff in that match. Ding had a couple of centuries to win it. And Junhui as well, won the last 3 against Gary Wilson. But now this is a step up, 1 table, 2 session match against the great Ding.
Yeah, I mean, the way this tournament is set up with semi-finals on consecutive days, these two have been taken out of the event, if you like, for a day. Neither of these two were involved yesterday. It was just Chris Wakelin and Zhao Guidong. And, of course, the same will apply to Chris Wakelin, who said he needs a rest. But sometimes being taken out of an event for a day doesn't always work out in your favour. We'll see how all that develops. But as far as this match is concerned, of course, Ding is favourite, we know, but Junhui has been playing well. He's had that 1-4-7. And other good results along the way. So I wouldn't be assuming that Ding is going to be in Sunday's final. I suppose that match that Dave mentioned, that the 5-0 drubbing that Ding gave Junhui in Wuhan just very recently, is potentially a factor so soon after that. Not winning a frame in that match, but interestingly, of course, who did he lose to in Wuhan? Chris Wakelin, in the end. Ding, so maybe history will repeat itself over the next couple of days.
I do think that the young Chinese players have to try and set aside their sort of admiration for Ding. I mean, he is obviously a legend of Chinese snooker. Seems to have a good record against a lot of them. He's come good though, hasn't he? I mean, what a week it's been. Even before he got here, he was 5-1 down in his first qualifier. Just looking at these, they're quite a distance apart, these two reds, aren't they?
Yeah, I think it's one of these plants, because the cue ball is that side of the two reds, it's more manageable. I'm not saying you'll get it, but you've got a better chance if you're higher than low on the reds. Oh, goodness, you made a bit mess of that one, all right. And it wouldn't have been on the black, so no part of that shot went right.
Well, Ding, of course, he's known for his break building. And looking to settle into this match immediately.
1.
It was rather an unusual break-off shot from Ding, because everything seemed right about it, and then you saw that the black had been nudged from its spot. It was a little strange how that happened.
Seven. 8.
Yeah, I mean, Ding Junhui's scoring this week is back to his old self, I think. He's been looking extremely dangerous in amongst them, which is basically what his career has been all about. His ridiculous break building and scoring. We always speak about it, but when you see it, you're just reminded of what you sometimes miss when he seems to go on the quiet list for a while, where he doesn't seem to win a lot of matches. Certain events he doesn't seem to flourish in, others, not only in China, but of course in York, the UK, he's done very well in that event. Been in a world final, of course, he could have won that year. Made a bad start against Selby. Bad start here as well, missing that.
Ding Junhui, 15.
surprising miss, but as I say, it kind of feels like a final because it's one table, it's a two-session match. It's quite unusual, as I said yesterday, in semi-finals these days. So it might just take a bit of settling down, and maybe some of the nervous energy from yesterday's been sort of carried into today, because that was pretty fraught towards the end.
Yeah, I mean, the first few frames yesterday were not very good at all. The early frames in that match, and I think sometimes a two-session match, you can see up to perhaps the first mini break that it's not always good snooker, but it ended up a very memorable game, actually. It almost takes a while to take shape. He must be trying to flick a red out off the pink. He mentioned that qualifier. I'm not sure how he got into that position of being 5-1 down against Al Sayed. He's not really looked like winning many matches, if any, on the tour, but he got to a 5-1 lead against Usur, which is sort of an eye-catching scoreline, but he couldn't convert it. In the end, Usur played well, but it took him a long time to start playing well.
Yeah, I mean, every match he's played actually has been memorable. When he got here, he played Stan Moody. That went to a decider as well. Of course, he had the maximum against Ryan Day. Then he beat Judd Trump. And then the last three against Gary Wilson. So it's been the tournament of his life already.
Well, at that speed going into them, it never seemed likely that anything was going to come into open play.
15.
That only victory against Junhui was in the WST Classic.
What's up, guys? Welcome to Ride the
He
Coffee
won
Bean.
4-3. That
Today
tour
we
won't
are
go
here
down
at
in
the
anyone's
World
list
of
as the
Coffee.
greatest ever played. But it was a win in a ranking event.
Yeah, I mean, I was there, and to describe it as low-key, I think, was overselling it. It was put on because the Turkish Masters had been cancelled. But it's the same game, and it was a win, as you say.
I mean, most players still entered it and played in it because it was a ranking event. Because Mark Selby didn't have to go out of his way to be there. Cause he's the local boy in Leicester, isn't he? But he got the job done. It's a nice shot, nice safety shot that. Well weighted, good line.
Yeah, of course, that was a period when the Chinese events weren't on the calendar. They came back last season, and what a welcome return. There's real prestige and a sense of occasion about them right from before they begin. They have the day before with the red carpet walk for the players. They're made to feel special, which of course they are. With the skills they show us. Big money as well, 175,000 to the winner tomorrow. And all the doors it would open, a champion spot available. And of course, one of these three are going to get in that now, either Wakelin, Ding or Jusur. Playing actually on Wednesday against Judd Trump, whoever comes through, so not long.
Yes, it's traditional that the winner of a Chinese event is included, of course, in the Champion of Champions. Just prior to that event up in Bolton, it doesn't always mean that whoever wins out of these three remaining players is going to play all that well, because they can get a reaction. So it would not necessarily mean that whoever does get the job done is going to continue the run of form. Different country, different conditions. Just be pleased to be there, no doubt. It's always been a great event, that Champion of Champions, all the winners over the last season. The idea is good. It'd be nice to be the last place in it for any of these three competitors. It's another good shot. He's played two excellent safety shots. He's left a long red, but he's incredibly difficult. I wonder if Ding will just take it on, because it's quite hard to follow up the safety shot. There's as much chance of him knocking this long red in as there is perhaps keeping things safe. But of course, should he miss the pot, we're doing a lot of damage. It looks like he's going for it. Yeah, he's doing all kinds of damage there, but that red, amazingly, has just come across and blocked the pocket. We saw a similar thing happen yesterday with when Wakeland was on the brink, in one of the late frames, but of all the things to happen, that red just blocking the easiest of reds. It may look a simple plant, and I think there's every chance he'll get it, but it isn't quite as easy as all that. Yep, well done. This is an excellent opportunity early in the match.
Yes, more successful than the first plant he attempted earlier on, but Ding didn't make much from the chance he was left. So here we go. Zhu hand on table with a chance to just get into these new surroundings, this one table setup. The previous semi-final he was in was at the Indian Open. That was only a best of 7 back in 2017. He lost 4-2 to John Higgins.
8.
So this feels like a much bigger occasion.
Nine.
I think he's a player who first come to the attention of many was those World Championship qualifiers
16.
when Stephen Hendry made his comeback. Of course, he drew Jimmy White incredibly in the first round. Stephen Hendry won that match, and in the next round he was
17.
expected to follow up, I think, against Zhu, but he was much the better player of the two, this Chinese player, and won it comfortably. Played well in that match. Was not fazed by playing Hendry.
24. 25.
Yeah, he sort of has that demeanour of not being fazed by much. I mean, everyone's different. Some players, they do show their emotions quite strongly. Others sort of keep them inside. Just depends on how you're made, I guess. The champion here last year, Zhang Anda, in this tournament, I mean, he gave nothing away.
think he's quite a technically minded player. I've watched him, you know, at
32.
qualifying venues on practice tables, you know, looking through his cue action, watching his back arm and all the things that certain players do.
33.
Other players would never get involved in that, just hit balls. But I think he's technically minded about his game, trying to study the way he hits the ball. Has he finished in the one spot where none of those 3 reds go? I think he has, you know. There is a red to middle anyway.
$41.
But as you can see already, he's very neat sort of player positionally. A little bit slower than the man he's playing, but a similar kind of style when he's in.
$47. $48. $54.
So, this red frame ball.
55.
It is a long match, this, but important, I think, for Junhui to settle early because it's the biggest match he's ever played, and he's playing someone who's more than capable of running away with it. But this is an excellent opening frame for him.
Well, he played 2 immaculate safety shots. The first one didn't lead to anything, but the second one forced Junhui into a red he didn't really want to play, but what else could he do?
61.
So he's kind of almost textbook the way he's won this frame. Play a good
62.
safety shot, bring about the mistake from your opponent, and then capitalise. So he'll be pleased with that side of it.
He's made 4 centuries in the tournament, including, of course, the maximum.
69. She's 69.
Well, hasn't made one here, but 69, an excellent start to the second semi-final for Junhui. Long way to go, of course. It's first to 9 to reach the final. In fact, Ding is going to just come back and play a few shots, which is fair enough. It's frame 1. Of course, the table's been recovered before the first semi-final, so there's a new cloth. And he's shown his experience here. He's not going to win the frame, obviously, but he's just going to get involved in how the table feels.
$8. Junhui, 8.
Well, I'm very surprised he ended up playing that shot, though.
Yeah, I mean, he's actually led to snooker, but I mean, he's 61 behind with 35 on. So, it seems like a tall order. Well, for those of you watching on Eurosport, the frame actually is continuing. Ding, we thought he conceded, but he is playing on. I thought he was coming back to just maybe try and clear up and get used to the table, but he seems to be playing for the snookers. Now he's 61 behind with 35 on, so it will be quite something. But he's going to give it a go, it would seem. Apologies that we took that break, but the frame is surely Jusseu's. Made a 69 break.
I'm very surprised. I mean, I really can't work out what he's doing, because he won't be winning this frame needing all these snookers.
No, and it's a long day, isn't it, as well? That's the other thing. You don't really need another 10 minutes on top of it.
Of course, we saw a little spell where Ronnie was carrying on in frames. I don't know if he was doing it to make a statement of some kind about not being able to practice. There was a frame where he actually wanted to carry on the final black when it was lost. And I think Leo Scullion said, well, you can't do that because the frame is over.
Yeah, and also there was no ball to snooker behind. That's the other thing. Well, he might have to pot it here.
Yeah, Ronnie seemed most indignant. Excuse me, indignant that he was not allowed to carry on. I suppose there's literally no point in it. But anyway, it's a great shot he's played. But I'm most surprised to see all this, but maybe he just feels he needs to loosen the arm a bit. Yes, he's looked at the scores and sees a lead of 61 points. I mean, he doesn't want to leave a free ball, clearly, you know. But even if he does, I don't think it's going to make any difference, whatever he does here.
Well, no, I mean, what is it, 7 snookers he needs? Well, it's a good hit, but got to sort of put out of his mind, I suppose, wondering why is Ding carrying on. Just say, okay, well, put me in a snooker, I'll get out of it. There was a match a couple of years ago now, Elliot Slesser. He played on needing 7 snookers and he actually got them. But then he didn't win the frame. But, you know, every sort of once in a while, things can happen, I suppose.
I wonder, had he gone enough there, that would have just tipped the balance and it was time to concede. As if just the extra snooker would have been one too many. Very curious start to this match, isn't it? Let's be honest. We understood that he might want to just pot a few balls. I did not expect him to attempt the snookers as if his life depends on it.
No, and also, he's sort of not the sort of player you associate with doing this. I mean, as I say, there are some who do like the challenge, but I'm not sure Ding's ever been in that category, really.
Yeah, I think to roll it over the hole at least was you know, the right idea. Put the red over the pocket. So in or over, I think. Top left pocket. That's rolled out, that is. Now, if Ding tries to keep this red out, then we know that he really does fancy getting multiple snookers. Surely just time to pot the balls and play on.
One.
And now, of course, he has no chance of winning the frame because there's no free ball aspect, so I would have thought... I don't know what
7.
point he's trying to make here, if he's trying to make a point of any kind. Because I'm staggered that he's still in this frame, because he's 54 behind with only half of that amount of points on the table.
Foul. Ding Junhui, 4.
Well, there's one of them. Now he needs another 6. I know one thing, if he wins the frame, we'll be talking about it for years. Obviously, don't hit the black. Yeah, it's a good shot. Ben keeps looking at that scoreboard. I mean, I assume he's looked at it often enough. He does know the position. Maybe he just sort of thinks, well, to take the sting out of things for Zhu a little bit. He made the nice break. Was expecting, I'm sure, to start the next frame.
Well, players invariably carry on in the first and the last frame of matches. First frame to get a bit of practice, and you know, you might see a player needing multiple snookers and they decide to just carrying on just in case you get that far with it, but I'm not too sure why he's doing this. I know he's got one of them, but it's a long way away from that meaning anything. It's just a drop in the ocean, that snooker he got. be honest, I can't think of a player less likely than Ding up until now to have done this, to carry it on like this in the very first frame of a match. And even some of the great players at snookers, someone like a Mark Selby, even he wouldn't be carrying on. And he can get snookers and he doesn't give frames up easily, but he would definitely have conceded, as would everyone else on the tour.
Well, if he can pot the yellow, surely that is that. But it's not in. Funny old business, this.
I said this before, and it's a very quiet moment at the match. There was a gentleman called Dickie Laws, who was an elderly, very good player from London. How's out of Chiswick in West London. Obviously, wouldn't be with us any longer now, but I remember watching him play. My dad, he was a very accomplished player, Dickie Laws. He would never concede a frame until there was no balls left on the table. And that was how he played, and it was a bit of a nightmare, because he would just carry on and carry on until... And that would be every frame of every match. He was completely against the idea of conceding frames. Made his opponent work for it all. Very few people out there would remember him, but he was a prominent player in the 70s. Only saying this because we've got a little bit of downtime, I think, in this frame.
Yeah, I mean, it's like sort of pot black in the 70s, you know, we got to make the programme last half an hour. So just carry on.
Yeah, I played in that, and that they ask you to complete the frames. It would usually be just to pot all the balls at the end, even they'd play down to the final black, and even if you're 50 in front or 50 behind.
I wonder what Zhu makes of all this. Maybe that's the point. Ding knows it's a big day for him.
Maybe, but you know, he's going to hurt Zeus a lot more by making big breaks and potting all the balls against him. I don't think this is going to make a lot of difference. Only time will tell on that. A friend of mine has just told me that he plays in the disability snooker, my friend, and says there is a mercy rule in the WDBS which prohibits a player from continuing if three or more than three snookers are required. It's quite difficult, I should think, for the referees to work that out sometimes, amongst the other things they have to do, but well, he's got him slashing balls around, if nothing else.
He hasn't got a couple. The snookers obviously did get one set of penalty points, but otherwise not really threatening to get them. And now he's in one himself.
Question is, how many frames out of 100 would you win from this position? I think the answer is none. Now, is he going to consider potting it? I get the feeling he's hell bent on continuing with this. Peggy Lee keeps looking up at the scoreboard suspiciously, as if she's maybe miscounted, which she hasn't, of course. I don't know what he's doing. I have to say, I have no idea why he's doing this. Makes no sense. It's the first frame of a long match, and he's playing on, you know, he needed 7 snookers. Now, he did get a little bit of leeway. I think he's, how many does he need now? Something like the same amount. I've lost count, actually. Yeah, get in. That's better. If he carries on now, I'll be even more surprised. And I'm not sure what he's up to, actually. I've got to say that. I'm a huge fan of his game, but I don't really understand why he was playing on. He must surely concede now.
Well, we'll find out.
3.
Wow.
Are you kidding me? What is going on here? What point is he trying to make?
4.
This is very odd, and I don't understand it.
Well, it's very unding-like, but really, it's very unlike anyone.
And why is he even looking at the scores?
Yeah.
It's very strange. He can do what he wants, but I still don't really understand it. What benefit it is to him. Whether there's something about, maybe he's at a,
4.
you know, disagreement with Sousa or something. I don't know.
40 minutes, I mean, a lot of that has been this playing for snookers. Well, and now he's conceded after Sousa potted the blue, didn't let him pot the pink. So a very strange business, that. But let's not forget Sousa made a 69 break. The referee seemed to be talking to Ding as well as that was happening. All very odd. But the bottom line is Sousa leads Ding Junhui 1-0.
Second frame, 徐思 to break.
Well, the next question is, as we see a lovely little flick off of the brown ball, is will it make any difference to Zhu Se? Will it? I mean, we don't know, and we're going to find out if it's put him out of his rhythm and or made him more determined, actually. Who knows?
Foul. And miss.
Oh dear.
徐思 7.
I guess the question as well, has it put Ding out of his rhythm? You know, because as I say, his game is scoring.
Absolutely. A few people have already contacted me this morning saying that they thought it was unsporting. I mean, not my words, but a lot of people have said that. Anyway, we move on, I think.
Well, Zhu Se has got an immediate scoring chance here.
I mean, he's a big scorer, isn't he? You know, he made his second 147 break over the course
8.
of this week. Of course, he made one in the UK Championship last season, so you know he is a good player at the business end of the game around the black spot. He's probably learnt a lot from the man he's playing, actually.
9.
Yeah, he's made 16 centuries already this season now. He only made 7 last, and he's made 54 in his career. So basically, he's made about a third of his career centuries this season. So something has definitely clicked. He turned pro in 2017.
He's an improver, isn't he? And you're seeing more and more now
16.
of players who it takes a while for the penny to drop at snooker for certain players from all around the world, of course. You know, he at the age of 26 is going to have his best years ahead of him, I think, as a player. But I say, I've watched him practice. He's very studious, very much into his cue action and putting in a lot of hours.
Yeah, and even before this event, he'd had some good results this season. At the Xi'an Grand Prix, he got to the quarterfinals there. He beat the likes of Stuart Bingham and Mark Williams. He beat Jack Lisowski at the English Open. Seems unfazed by everything that happened there in frame 1 on this evidence.
24.
Yes, I thought he might have been straight on that red into the yellow pocket, in which case he'd have played back for the black, but he's not got a very nice shot at all at it, as you can see from that camera angle. Oh, that's a good shot, though.
25.
He could not have played that any better from the position he was in over the top of a ball. So far so good for Zhu Se. Unconcerned by the way frame 1 ended.
Thirty. $31.
this time, that was not the kiss he was looking for.
38.
Thin red, and he hits the other ball, I think, on the way through. It's good stuff, you know. I think he's played well in the frame and a half we've seen here. It's a good shot. That is a good shot. I know he's gone
44.
a fraction too far for the red to right corner, but he's still on it.
$45.
Well, one thing he is doing is getting on the blue nicely, which doesn't sound much, but it's actually a lot to do with how the game and the break building, you know, he's at his best. When you get the angle he's getting here all the time, you can do what you like with the cue ball. He can go into these if he wants to. Tell you what, he's playing some lovely stuff. This is a beautiful little shot.
50. $51.
That's fine. He didn't want to go too far, but he's a very precise player on position. So not there yet. There's still plenty of points
58.
available. 7 red, so it's 83 on, but that's going to go down by 8 points when this red is potted, and he's not missing this one.
59.
So he'll need just one more red after this black, because he'll be 73 in front with 75 on. It's important that I think he does get this frame one at this visit.
$66.
Yeah, very good. Very good, this.
67.
He's tuning in it. I mean, now we can't say that Ding will concede on it, I suppose. We just don't know what he's going to do. But if it was a tactic to try and sort of unsettle or get under the skin of Zhu Se, it doesn't work, does it? It just hasn't worked because he's played immaculately here.
74.
So it backfired, what Ding was up to there in that frame one.
75.
Yeah, we don't know why he did it, but like you say, it's made no difference to his opponent, who started this match, the biggest match of his life, of his whole career, really well. Played so well throughout the event, and he's carrying that on here in the early stages of this semi-final.
83.
It's another beautiful shot he's played. I know that the frame is over.
90.
It was just a lovely control. And maybe
91.
Ding sees Zhu Se as a big threat, you know. I mean, he's a very fine player, very much improved player. Maybe all that was about him seeing him as a threat and trying to unnerve him, but it's just made a delightful break. It's been the highest quality in my book.
I mentioned his centuries tally this season, 16 already, and surely going to add to it here.
99.
Concentration not affected at all by that prolonged duel for snookers that never was going to come to much. So this then for his 5th century of the week. Terrific stuff from Zhu Se. He brought his A game to this match right from the off.
106.
One way to stop Ding playing for snookers is to just pot every ball, and that seems to be what he's going to do here.
$110. $112.
Yes, he's made a statement of his own, hasn't he, here, Zhu Se? And that is that he's playing some of the best snooker of his life.
$119.
And of course, we saw Zhang Guodong beat Si Junhui in Wuhan. We saw Wu Yize in the final of the English Open, and another Chinese talent making a statement here at the business end of a big tournament. What a break.
130.
Absolutely superb. So it's going to be a total clearance. The 7 points were from a foul. 137 with the black. Very, very nicely done. Zhu Se completely unaffected by what happened in frame 1, and he's made a terrific start to this match. He leads 2-0. Their championship chance to be at the Masters as well. A chance to win this tournament tomorrow. Who's he going to play though?
Frame 3. Junhui to
Ding's
break.
2-0 down.
One thing you can say is Ding Junhui was very good in this win against Kyron Wilson, I thought. He played ever so nicely there. Kyron has been in such great form. Yet he was outplayed, outscored. Oh, that's a dreadful shot again. Notice at the very last second there, and in the break-off shot, Ding's eyes just at the a fraction before he hit the ball were looking away from the cue ball, sort of to his side. I saw it again there. Slightly odd. And it was a pretty basic safety shot which he hit too thin.
Of course, so much of the responsibility for the number of talented Chinese players who've come along has rested on Ding's shoulders. He started the boom, and if Zhu Se does beat him, he'll become the 15th Chinese player to reach a ranking final.
He's got to be a little careful. This red is quite close to the cushion. If he hits too much of it, he'll double kiss it. But if he hits it thin, he'll be okay. It's one of those shots. Nice shot. Well, his safety is absolutely immaculate, isn't it? Terrific shot. His all-round game in these two frames has been nigh on perfect, I think.
Zhu Se can't quite get in the top 16 if he won the tournament. I know we're jumping massively ahead, but he would go up to 23, so he'd be in striking distance, because of course the 175,000, it would get him in the lucrative Players Series events. A lot of ranking points up for grabs there. But anyway, as I say, we're still in the early stages of the semi-final, but he's certainly got Ding on the ropes here. You know, Ding, one of the great break builders, but he won't be making any breaks if he can't see a pot.
Yeah, I mean, it was such a good safety shot. There was hardly any room to squeeze that cue ball between the green and in behind the brown, but he found it. I'm amazed that he's played that shot, Ding. I don't know if he meant it like that, but there were so many dangers. If he hit it any harder, he'd have been leaving reds to the left corner. So it isn't bad, but I tell you, that was quite a risky way to play out of that snooker, which has worked in his favour. I think he's going for the red. It's awkward. Oh, goodness me, what a shot that is. It looked for all the world like he had to play safe. It looked like Ding had kind of weathered the storm of that awkward snooker. But the red he took on and got was a fabulous shot. It's just a little unlucky on this occasion that he hasn't taken the cue ball round to the top side of the blue. To get from blue to red here, he'd have to hit it incredibly hard. Whether he's got enough cue power and cue speed for this shot, I'm not sure. It's going to be as much as he can hit the ball, the pace, I think. That's the problem. You hit one ball on the way, And it's lost.
Six.
Now, what's he found this time? That looks tight to me. I think it'll go, but I don't know if it's a full pocket. Well, I mean, it's one of these shots. There's a strong chance of hitting the black on the way through here. Ah, brilliant. Brilliant shot. Into half a pocket.
Yeah, I mean, his focus is just absolutely 100%, isn't it, in the start of this match? I mean, it is a massive game for him. He's playing someone he looks up to in a big money event to get to his first final. You know, you put it all together. You could forgive him for feeling it in the early stages, but he looks the experienced player here. He's done everything right so far.
Thirteen. Fourteen.
Well, this time, I'm not sure how he can keep the break going. He's done ever so well to get this far, but I think he
21.
will have to end up playing a safety shot. The cannon was, for once, ill-directed.
She's 21.
That's not a xylophone that someone's brought in with them. It's a mobile phone going off. And the referee, again, appealing for a bit of quiet.
Now, Ding's got something to go at here. He's been kept very cold. And it's an early test of his cue action. He's got the yellow ball is kind of in the way of his bridge hand a bit. So he's not entirely comfortable on the shot. It's kind of one-way traffic, isn't it, at the moment? But in a long match like this, first to 9 frames, of course, it can change. But he's going to need to.
Yeah, it's been a strange start from Ding. And a good start from Juseu. Right at the very start, we didn't sort of start when we were supposed to. There was some issue in the arena. We weren't quite sure what it was, but it just delayed things slightly, and don't know whether that affected Ding. I'm not sure, but he's not quite right, and his opponent is, and that's why Juseu must fancy his chances to open what could be a significant lead in this session.
It's going to be a tough break, though, this, with the black held up by that red next to it. I don't know whether the red could be got on or not. It looks like it's a bit further down across the black than that, although there might be an area on the left side of the table where it does pop to the right, and then, of course, it's an irrelevance that it's there.
Seven.
Peggy Lee keeping close watch, those fingers. Yeah, she's in front of our camera, but she's entitled to be, to make sure there's no foul.
8.
Player would feel it, of course. It seems all the table time Ding's had was actually that playing on for snookers, which was a pretty futile exercise in frame 1. Otherwise, it's been all Juseu.
Well, he's on one with slightly difficult to be guaranteed to be on a colour, depending on what sort of angle he has here. I think he's now looking at that red and the black, and as to what goes to the pocket closest to the camera shot. He'd do well to get out of there onto his colour, I think, from the shot we saw there. Surely he's not thinking about playing the other red, is he? He's looking at the very thin red, but he's on that one, but it's just a little awkward to see what's going to come next.
$15.
That'll do. Nice little cannon. He's playing all the shots.
$21. $22.
It's another good shot. I think he's gone far enough. Certainly to pot the red, but there's no suggestion the black will go to the right corner. Well, the other red's in the way now anyway, but even if it wasn't there, he can't pot the black.
$29.
It's very impressive so far. Not only in getting to this round, in semi-final stage, but just what he's done in the frames we've seen. He's been almost flawless.
$35. $36.
Showing nice touches as well, I think. The little cannons and nudges. He's finished nicely on this pink, run it through, reds to the opposite side of the table, right corner.
$42.
Yeah, I mean, he's playing like a top 8 player so far.
43.
But we have this strength in depth now, don't we? I mean, he's the world number 49, but that means he's seriously good. And if he pots this pink, he's going to be 3-0 up against Junhui here in this huge match for him. Semi-finals of the International Championship. What a start for Junhui. Not just the scoreline, but how well he's played. Completely shutting Ding out.
49.
Yeah, I mean, he really has played well. I mean, Ding, when you think about frame one before, Ding played on hitting a lot of snookers. You know, he got in and overcut the red to the right corner. Potted a couple of balls when the snookers were being attempted, but he hasn't potted anything since. He's not really been involved in this match at all.
56.
The health warning, of course, is a best of 17. If this was best of 11, you know, he would be in serious trouble, but it's a long way to go. But he's going to have to stop producing something soon, just for his own peace of mind, I think.
Yes, he's going to have to take frames out of this session for sure. You know, he can't just hope that when he turns up for the evening session it's all going to be all right, because if he's a long way behind, it won't be. So he's going to have to sort of pull something out of the wreckage of these early frames.
63.
And also he's going to have to hope that Junhui stops playing like this, because he's been absolutely sensational in these frames. Yeah, it's hard to think how anyone could have played better than this.
Well, it's how you dream of starting what is the biggest match you've ever played. To set up a match that, of course, would be even bigger against Chris Wakelin. It's great to see so many different faces, isn't it? Playing good stuff, bringing their best game to big matches. We've seen it all season. And here in Nanjing, Junhui coming of age as a snooker player.
78.
Chance for back-to-back centuries here.
79. $86. 88. $91.
The most beautiful break again. I mean, you think he got in early in the frame with also a promising break, but he just
95.
couldn't continue it. And then when the chance came again, he's done this. You know, he looks at absolutely $1 million today.
The blue then for back-to-back centuries. What a start. What a performance Semi-finals often are edgy affairs. Yesterday, as Neil said, it was quite scrappy early on, but this is the opposite of that. So 137 in frame 2. And 113 clearance in frame 3. Zhu playing the snooker of his life here. And he takes early command of the semi-final. He leads Ding 3-0. Zhu's the sort of snooker that Zhu has. Back-to-back centuries, 3-0. This is the last frame before the interview. He's about to break off and he's being asked to wait. He's smiling about it, which I guess is encouraging. Or is it not his break-off? No, it's Zhu's break-off. That's why. Well, he's so keen for table time. He was trying to break off there, but it's not his turn.
Yeah, there's a kind of a saying we use in the UK, isn't there? He's got out of bed at the wrong side today, Ding. It seems that a few things have happened that make me think that he hasn't... he's not himself, let's be honest. He's been well beaten at the moment, but he's not himself in a few ways. Which is in great contrast with how he's been playing this week.
Oh, that helps. And you never know, that could lead, if he gets a chance, to him making a nice break and getting involved in this match. But Zhu, no mistake with the escape.
Catching ball.
Has he left a gap? Maybe he has. No, Ding was looking at that red, hopefully, but there's nothing there for him. I mean, obviously, Ding, when he gets chances, he's going to have to score. That's obvious. But the other thing, he's going to have to keep him under that cushion. So, because I think at the moment it looks like from anywhere else he'll pop one.
Useful to have that, isn't it, to see what the player can see from the bulk end.
I think he's going for one here. He could play safe off the bunch, but he's going for a long red. This is really tough.
Now, can Ding get in first and foremost here? He can't. A bit of a groan from the audience.
He was down at the shot a long time, and in the end, he's usually a very good player in the middle pockets, but he was absolutely nowhere near that one. Continuation of his frustrations.
1.
So he's had back-to-back centuries. He made 69 in the first frame, which actually could have been a ton as well. So if you
6.
ding right now, you'd be fearful of more of the same. Of course, he's not always that straightforward, but his concentration, his focus, everything has been 100% so far.
Seven. Twelve. Thirteen.
Well, he's gone to split them. You're always relying on a little bit of luck. Not sure he's had it. The red's... well, look at that. I mean, does that red go past the black?
17.
He's having a good look. We're talking millimetres here. Potentially for 4-0. Don't think he's convinced, though. Very positive shot he played, but as I say, you're relying just getting on one red. That's all you really need to continue.
I think they'll go, but I mean, it's really tight, isn't it? On both sides, that's the problem. I think you ask yourself, which side is more in the way? You know, is it the black or is it the red close to the pocket? And I think, well, it's ever so tight. I think it will go, but into a very small area.
Clearly doesn't want to give Ding a simple starter, so you can understand him not taking it. But certainly, had he got on a red nicely, you'd fancied 4-0 there.
17.
Yeah, I mean, he's left a chance. It wasn't the best safety in the end, was it? He has left a pot on here. I bet now he wishes he'd taken the pot on, because he played a sort of nothing shot in a way, and he left the pot for Ding, and, well, this could be the start of something for him. He needed an opening, and he's in.
Seven. Eight.
Well, if ever he needed to do something, it's now, I think. And if he could just get this frame on the board, you know, at 3-1 down, it isn't looking that grim, but you know, the fact is he hasn't really been involved in the session at all, so he would take 3-1, or he would have to, of course.
Sixteen. $23. $24.
Yes, he's not quite gone through anywhere near as far as he would have wanted to. He didn't want to play on the red down the cushion, although I feel that had he got on it, he would have probably potted it.
$33.
Good recovery.
Well, we always look for turning points in matches, and Hughes
38.
played an aggressive shot to get the reds open. Didn't fancy that tricky red, but then the sort of safety he played was, well, not a safety, because he left the red on.
39.
So it's definitely changed things. Ding was looking for an in. He needed one. He needed some help. And, well, this is so far so good for him. Been a strange start for him, but there's plenty of time. He's got all the experience in the world.
46.
This is his 37th ranking event semi-final after all. So, okay, in early trouble, but plenty of time to get himself out of it.
$47. 53. 54.
Well, this is much needed and pretty good, actually, I have to say. And he's not over the line. He has a lead of 44
61.
points, so... I mean, red and black would be enough, but if he takes a pink, then the other red will follow it, so it's all
62.
good. And more in keeping with how he's been playing all week. But I suppose it comes down to... If you just take the first frame out of it, where he clearly was carrying on for reasons unknown. Since then, he's been totally frozen out by the better player. That's what's really happened here. Very high standard.
Very purposeful break, though, isn't it? You know, he's been really quick around the table, and that's frame ball. So, first real proper scoring chance, I guess, for Ding, and he's taken it superbly, and he joins this match and sets up what promises to be a very interesting second half of the session. You know, I like the way he's made this break. He's been no sort of hesitancy at all.
76.
And he now could make a century of his own. So he got up early to watch this. You're watching good stuff. Schuster played brilliantly to lead 3-0 and was in this frame, but
85.
just that one chance he offered up, Ding has taken. He's made 674 career centuries. Looks like another one on the way here.
Well, the cube was running and running, but he's
92.
just stopped in the nick of time there. There's been some terrific break building in this
94.
first 4 frames.
Yeah, this is more Ding's game rather than the playing for snookers. That's all in the past now in that first frame. For whatever reason he did that.
97.
This is how he's going to win the match, clearly, playing like this. So this Brown will have had 3 centuries in as many frames. Well, what a great response, because he's been frozen out for most of the morning, but this is what Ding does best.
106. 112.
First real proper chance to get going, and what a break. Lovely clearance from Ding Junhui, 119. He made that look very easy, didn't he? He was under pressure to produce something, and that's exactly what he did. But it is Schuster who, at the first interval of the second semi-final of the International Championship, who leads by 3 frames to 1.
Frame 5.
Frame 5, and he's on the scoreboard. Schuster has done very little wrong, though. He just played that one lack safety, I guess, in frame 4 that opened the door for Ding. Otherwise, he's been superb. Every reason to be feeling good as the match resumes. We've seen players sometimes come into a match of this importance and fall flat. He's not done that. Straight away, he's in. And he's going to be on the brown here to middle. So this is an immediate scoring chance. The long red is sort of shot to nothing, but it might lead to plenty. Could easily have been 4-0 when he went into the reds off the brown in the last frame.
5.
He was left a potential red, but it was fraught with danger. He could have been on a much easier one, and the way he was playing, you'd have fancied him with the reds open to maybe make another century, certainly win the frame.
6.
Still has one loose red, but also has the angle to go into them, and that's what he's done. And again, you're just looking to land on one here, and he could have finished better this. He's been unlucky there, really.
13.
You know, he's playing the positive shots, but you just need to finish on one. Look of horror on Peggy Lee's face there. Think of phone going off. She's certainly laying down the law to whoever is responsible. Well, he got so close to it. As I say, could have been left an easier one.
13.
And he took a long time to play it, and he got close, but it's not in.
Something of a rarity, isn't it? Missing a ball like that for Sir this morning. Now Will Ding raised his game. We saw the century before the mid-session, and he's had 15 minutes to think about the early exchanges, and now he's going to have to play well. Worth saying again, of course, that he did beat Zhu Se in Wuhan very recently. Five frames to nil, so
7.
now on that basis, you'd think it would come into as a factor, the fact that he had such an easy win, but Zhu Se has come out like a completely different player from what we saw there. That looks okay. The bottom red, he'll be doing a lot of damage to the other reds, but he's got to get onto a colour, of course. Played that nicely. Didn't have a huge angle on the black.
23. $24.
It's turning into a real tear-up, isn't it? These two are starting to play some great stuff.
29. $30.
Yeah, that's a nice positional shot there. He knows the bottom red goes.
37. $38. $45.
Well, first things first, of course, win the frame, but I mean, there's a chance for a 4th century in a row between the two of them.
46.
The main thing for Ding supporters is he's found a way into the match, because at 3-0 he was being completely outplayed and just shut out as well. That's the other thing. He wasn't really getting chances. Well, that was always head into that jaw, wasn't it? But it's wriggled in. These pockets, I think we've said all week, have played on the generous side.
Yeah, I mean, you shouldn't really go in off that jaw, you know. It's not the
53.
right place to hit. But it just crept in. Ding was stopped in his tracks, wasn't he? Even he thought perhaps that he'd missed it.
54.
Well, he just needs to reset and try and plough on here. Because he could have been 5-0 down. I mean, 2 splits really from Junhui. Didn't quite come off as well as he'd hoped in the last frame, and again in this one he could. I mean, he was on a red, but he could have been on a much easier one.
Nice shot. Nice
61.
shot. Cue ball just going far enough, I hope. Because I say it would be quite something to see another century here. The frame is not won yet, though, crucially. And he's not on the pink perfectly. Well, I think he'd
66.
settle for that. It's not the easiest shot now, but of course he only wants one more red for Snookers to be required. He's started to play well, hasn't he? He's recovered that situation with a couple of good shots. Retrieved the break, and now that it appears he's going to win the frame, it would be worth noting that there is another century on, as we were saying. That'd be 4 in a row.
I thought it was a good sign because we were wondering what sort of mood he was in. But in the last frame,
70.
frame 4, he was trying to break off and it wasn't his turn, and he sort of had a laugh and a joke about it, which suggested actually, you know, he's feeling okay. Well, he's certainly looking okay now, isn't he? This is more like it from Ding.
77.
I was never in, but
Junhui.
he's still a frame-winning break, not a century, but 77. So Ding was in trouble at 3-0, and Jusa has had chances since, but the match now a lot closer. It's 3-2. Well, not a good break-off shot from Jusa. He's left an immediate opening here for Ding, who we know he's playing well after the last 2 frames, but the red's not in. But at least it's turned into a good contest now. The only issue with long matches, a lot of people like long matches, but they can, obviously if they're one-sided, offer up not a lot of drama in the second session. But of course we saw last night the opposite of that. When they're close, there's nothing better, and I'm sure the audience here and everyone watching on Eurosport would love to see another close one in the second session.
Well, it was played slowly enough for the ball to just drop in, and that's what happened. It wasn't centre of the pocket. He looked very much on his way. It's a good shot as well, wasn't it? You know, it was not an easy red to middle anyway. He hasn't always been all that lucky when he's gone into the bunch. And nothing's changed there then, because that's no good to him. I don't think he's blessed with a huge amount of cue power. He's very accurate and very straight cueist, but I'm not sure he's got a lot of power with his actual way of hitting the ball. So the Reds have gone nowhere really there.
She's 8.
Yes, he came out to just make sure he covered that red to middle, which I'm sure he has.
It is traditionally the time of the season where Ding starts playing well, the UK Championship. Of course, he's won 3 times, he's been runner-up the last 2 years. Big event next week, the Champion of Champions for the winners of all the tournaments in the last year, which the winner of this event is going to get in at the last minute. And the UK qualifiers start actually during that event, they start on the Saturday.
One. 5. Six. $13. $14. Which? $21. $22. $29. $30.
Well, Ding is doing what he does best, isn't he? You know, as a break builder, he just sort of sees the patterns and the process, and then gets on with it. And it's more impressive to do it from 3-0 down when, you know, you made no impact on the match at all.
$38. Pink. Pink ball.
Now, what happened there? Someone distracting him, I think, behind the line of the shot. Thankfully, it did not put him off. So there's a real turning of the tide now, back in favour of Ding Junhui.
44.
But he hasn't won the frame yet. The 2 reds up the table will be helpful. It was quite difficult for Zhu Se to ever get back into the frame should Ding miss. Oh, hang on. That's a unexpected plot twist there.
4.
Now that does change things. Yeah, I mean, they made the point actually just before Ding went off that the two reds up the table were in Ding's favour, but of course from in the D they were reachable. And this would be a big turnaround if he could claw his way back into this frame. Very unexpected and unlikely and off in the middle that was from
Green
Ding.
ball. Four. Five.
Just having a look at the chance of
11.
opening up those two reds, getting those two reds on the right cushion into play. He tried to actually get them both out, but he's put one on the other cushion instead. So it's not really done a lot of damage there.
Seems for Peggy Lee, the referee, the sort of the snooker's the least of her worries. There's a lot going on around and about that she's having to keep on top of. Of course, it's a new place for snooker here in Nanjing. There'll be people who've never been before, maybe don't quite grasp the sort of etiquette. Quite unusual to go anywhere and keep quiet these days, isn't it? But that's kind of always been the thing in snooker, at least when players are on the shot. Very good referee, I think, Peggy. Quite, you know, he's got authority, which obviously is important, and respect to the players, which is also important.
But things surely in this break are going to get more difficult now. I know they're quite reasonable down the cushions, quite generous, these tables, but still you have to hit them well to pop them along the cushion. It would be a big moment, I think, in this match if somehow Su Se could win this frame. All of the flow was back with Ding Junhui.
Well, Peggy's now having to remove things off the cloth itself.
20. $21.
Yeah, I mean, he's a little bit thin. He's going to hit this red quite firmly, this right hand red, I think. I don't think he's come back far enough for the perfect angle. I think he'd prefer to have stunned the blue in and controlled the cannon on the red, but instead I think he's just hitting into the red without any real knowledge of where it will finish this way from where he is with the cue ball. No, he's not even hit it at all. So there's a misjudgment. Either a bad shot or more likely the shot before to get on the blue
26.
wasn't great because He had every chance of getting the correct angle on the blue to nudge the red out. What a terrific pot. And now he's got an angle, I think, on the black. I'll give him a second bite at the cherry here. Well, even the third, I guess, because he he tried to move the reds earlier. A tremendous pot there. Well, if he can nudge the red out in potting the black here, make it potable, it'll be probably the shot of the semi-final so far. Brilliant. How is this break still going?
34.
So many occasions during the course of it, it looked like it was about to come to an abrupt end.
$35.
That's not a great shot, though. No way he didn't just run through and get onto the pink into the opposite middle pocket. Got to pot it here with the rest and hold for the yellow. Not easy.
Well, it's the only close frame we've had. All the others have been
41.
big breaks. So Ding was looking good. That unexpected in off to the middle changed things. Schuster still needing the rest on this yellow.
43.
Well, he's okay. I mean, he's caught the green, but he's on it to the other corner.
Misjudgment, wasn't it? And he's a little fortunate to have that shot. And he knows the importance of this now. He needs 3 more pots.
$46.
Brown puts him 18 in front with 18 on. It's not been straightforward, this. Pressure on every shot.
50.
Yeah, he's played that well, though. So the blue for a 4-2 lead. Ding was looking good to level up.
Yeah, I mean, the in-off was unbelievable, wasn't it, really? Off the other ball. Stopped him in his tracks. But this has been
55.
exceptional. I mean, it's the most exceptional break. The balls are incredibly awkward.
Feels more significant in a way than the centuries because, as I say, it's the only close frame. And always the question is, from behind, can the player make the clearance? Well, he has done. And he still has a chance to be in front.
68.
Coming back tonight. His 2-frame lead is restored with 2 frames left to play. Zhu Se leads Ding Junhui in the semi-finals here in Nanjing, 4-2.
From 7.
Could easily have been 3 each. But having said that, Zhu Se did have chances before this frame to be further in front. So Ding's still very much in this. clearly, it's all sort of jostling for position, but would certainly win at least one of these two frames. He wants them both, but we feel he needs at least one of them. So if Zhu were to win this one, then it makes the last one really interesting.
One thing you can say, he's playing ever so well. And he has all the way through this match. He played well all week, but I think this is a upper level, what I'm seeing today. I know it's only the first session of two, and he will return for the evening session, hoping for more of the same. Might get a little tense later, but right now things are going nicely for him. I think he's all right there, but he was worried about the cue ball just drifting further down the table, but it stopped just in time.
Five.
Of course, most of the Chinese contingent are based in Sheffield. Ding Junhui's actually got an academy there where a number of players play. And on this very day, 53 years ago, the Crucible Theatre opened for the first time. First ever performance featured a young actor called Ian McKellen. Little did they know the impact it would have, not just on the theatre world, because it's very well regarded as one of the best regional theatres in Britain, but of course on the snooker world. Thanks to Mike Watterson, the promoter, for taking it there in 1977.
Yes. 11. Twelve.
He's going to try and get these reds open here. He's on a thin red, but I don't know if he can control it, pot it and get onto a high value colour. Because as you can see, the pink has dropped onto the black as well. What a very good shot. Very precise again.
Twenty-four.
So one does go astray. It was awkward queuing and he had to
24.
get some elevation, but from judging by what he's been potting, I didn't really think he'd missed that one.
1.
Couldn't quite get the other side of the blue, but it doesn't matter with the red close to the pocket. And these are the frames, aren't they? As we were saying earlier, you know, the century breaks are all one thing, and they're great to see.
6.
But it's the frames where both players have chances in them. It seemed to me that the difference sometimes.
Seven.
Wanted to miss the yellow altogether there. They've taken pace out of the cue ball, pushed it further to the left as well.
12.
I think he'd have been on the red nicely, but for the kiss.
Junhui, 12.
This session could get a bit nervy, I think, because it's one match, yes, but it is divided into 2 sessions, and Ding, as I say, needs to be in touch, doesn't he? He needs at least 3 frames from the 8 played. So we've had a lot of breaks so far, but don't be surprised if there's a few mistakes at the end of the session. We saw yesterday in the second session, obviously, with Wakelin and Zhao Guodong, how nerves can play a massive part in this game.
It's another good safety shot from Zhu, and he's played some good ones. His all-round game is improving all the time.
Foul. And miss. 14, 4.
I don't think it's a free ball. I mean, I can't think that it is one. Referee's, of course, in the best position to tell, but the miss is called instead.
Foul. And miss. 14, 4.
This looks more like a free ball to me.
Free ball.
Yep, this time it is. He looks displeased, let's just say that. Yeah, it's a game of fractions. He potted that blue, and on the way back up towards the reds, the red he subsequently missed, he just glanced
Yellow
off the yellow, did Ding Junhui, and his position went astray at that point. Or he might have been still at the table now potting balls. Yellow is taken as a free ball here, so it counts as one. No, the colour will follow it. So basically it's like an extra red on the table for that one shot. So, I mean, 5 out of the 7 frames, if he wins this one, it'll be that equation, and he'll have a good lead. At least 2 frames, maybe 4, but he's got to just continue with what he's doing here first, of course. Never got any further than this in a ranking event.
Yeah, I mean, it can scramble your brain sort of thinking about the frame sequence, but the fact is, the last frame of the session will feel bigger if it's 5-2 than were it 4-3. It would feel bigger for Ding, trying to stay in touch coming back tonight. So this is an important visit, potentially. Ultimately, you've got to get to 9 first, but it's sort of how it, as we know from these long matches, how it unfolds that is fascinating.
That's fine. I think the red will go to right corner. His concentration is very good as well. You know, he stays at the table and it looks as if he's completely focused on what he's doing.
Thirteen.
Well, he tried to just hold for the red to middle, and as you can see, cue ball has drifted across the way.
19.
Took a long time on that last shot, and the red by the pink over the top of some other reds is a little tricky, this.
Twenty. $26. 27.
27.
Well, this won't be I guess, the biggest break of the session. It may be potentially one of the most significant, as I say, to get him to 5-2, guarantee a lead, with a chance for 6-2. Looking at the scores, 53 in front. So another
33.
red with a big colour. Ding would need a snooker.
Yes, and he probably needs another red after it, isn't he? Because I think if you were up early enough to watch the first frame, you'll realise that Ding played on for about 20 minutes, needing 7 snookers in the first frame. No, don't seem to know quite why he chose to do that. Even on the colours he was playing on, multiple snookers. So 1 snooker he will be playing on.
Yeah, he was making some sort of point. We weren't quite sure what it was, but anyway, as you say, it's only 1 needed here. But another excellent contribution from Junhui. Would have loved that in clearly, but it's not. So
40.
frame not done yet.
One.
We'll see how the evening develops, but what a terrific display from Junhui, and it's of a piece with how he's played all week. Remember, he beat Judd Trump earlier in the week, who, of course, had been in every quarter-final all year. Well, somehow he's managed to not bring those reds into play.
Yes, he wanted to get down to 1 red if possible to get the snooker behind.
Junhui.
He's been outplayed. That's safe to say. He had a spell where he had some form. But in the main, he's been the best player, hasn't he, Junhui, by quite some margin.
Just for a minute, that blue was heading towards the middle. He has, and you know, let's be honest, his career has not been stellar by any means. You know, this is only his 2nd semi-final. Sort of been languishing in the mid-rankings, and they're all good players down there, but really has stepped it up. I talk about the Crucible, it's a bit like someone sort of stepping out of the chorus to play Hamlet. You know, he's really on the big stage delivering. There will be questions tonight, won't there, about the pressure of the winning line. We saw that affect Chris yesterday, but for now he's in a very strong position.
Very clean. Frame is over now. So now we are at that point, aren't we, where there's a lead, but we don't know how many.
Six. 7.
Yeah, we can sound that big frame klaxon that we have on standby for the last of the session. Ding. He can win from 6-2 down, of course, but you'd rather be 5-3 and within range of Junhui. But Junhui has played very, very well here in this session. He deserves to be in front. Question now, what will the score be coming back tonight? We'll find out
15.
shortly as we head into frame 8. Match of his life, and he's standing up to it so far.
Twenty-two. 24. 27. 31. 36.
'Important clearance, wasn't it, in the last frame? That could easily have been 3 each. But the confidence of getting the 2-frame lead restored has been carried into this frame. So a very interesting session, and we've got one more frame to come, and it's a big one. Ding Junhui trying to stay in touch. The man with all the titles, but it's Junhui who's making the running 5-2 with one still to play. I think less good-humoured about it all, but you can understand it because she's trying to do the best for the players. And this is a big frame, clearly.
So I think we were in this position and was keep saying that he could really use this frame and it would make his task much more manageable tonight. And in general, I think it's safe to say he's playing well. His win against Karen Wilson I thought was superb. Today started on a strange note really. The first frame went on for a long time by Ding's own making, playing off of snookers.
4.
If anything, spurred on his opponent. But now he can finish the session well if he's in first here with his chance.
Five.
Gone a bit far. Gone a bit far. I think he's on it, but only just. Q action was a little bit fast and jabby there. He got into the cue ball too much. Couldn't have played it better though. Nice recovery that. The pace just enough on the black for it to reach, and that has landed him perfectly on the red.
Thirteen.
We seem to have lost the score graphic, but he's 13-0 up here, 5-2 down in frames, 13-0 up in this frame. I mean, older viewers will remember in the old days the score wasn't on the screen all the time. They would sort of float it up every now and again just to sort of let you know. Hopefully it will be returned at some point.
21.
Yes, and referees would call out the scores, wouldn't they? Frequently as well, announce the scores. So I don't think it was quite so easy even for spectators inside the venue to be completely sure of the scores. That's why the referees just shouted out.
29.
Well, he didn't need to go into him there, that's for sure, with that red sticking out. But I did wonder for a second the way he was cueing it.
36.
Of course, he will have to open them. Looks like he's going to try and do some damage here.
37.
Oh, what a shot. What a shot that is. That is class, the way he played that. Around 2 cushions. Lots of topspin.
The frame score is back, as you can see. 37 is the break and the lead.
$44.
And once again, he knows he will have to make contact with the bottom of that bunch of, well, it'll be 7 reds once the bottom one is potted. Yeah,
45.
that'll do. Nothing flashed, just a little glance.
Junhui, 45.
Oh, seems he has to put a bit extra in the way of force into a shot. That's when his sort of silky smooth cue action doesn't always react accordingly.
Foul.
What a horrible thing to happen, and a nasty miscue. It always makes a horrible sound, doesn't it? He's ended up hitting the blue. Ugh, not nice.
No, it's not nice, and any snooker player out there will, that sound, like running your fingers down a blackboard, it just, for a snooker player, it's the most horrible scenario. And initially I thought he was having the balls replaced, but clearly he's not. There's a chance there he's having the cue ball cleaned. I tell you, this would really hurt Ding if he lost his frame as well, because he was in command when he was in. He forced that black and missed it, then the miscue. It's not really been his best morning. He's been struggling. Kind of glimpses of good in there with the, you know, some of the breaks he made in the middle of the session, but otherwise he's been thoroughly outplayed. But that'll help. That'll make him feel a bit better. It's quite a thin contact, this.
Well, he raised his hand. He was just staring down at that cue ball, trying to get it to obey what he was trying to get it to do, which is leave him on this, Brown. Dramatic end to the session.
Well, I think the other red goes anyway, the one by the blue.
保持安静了，谢谢。
Put a bit of force into the shots and he doesn't quite have the same reaction. Such a lovely touch player. So a chance to redeem himself earlier in the frame here. Got a good lead. Here's another forcing shot using a lot of screw. Not a good shot. I mean, I don't think he could have hit the yellow accurately into the pocket, because he would have been trying to screw onto the side cushion and down, screwing off. Lost all his accuracy there. Surely not this frame. I don't know how it's still going, really, because Ding has missed two very good chances to get it won.
Well, a super fine contact. I guess the one thing, in theory anyway, it doesn't always pan out like this, but the one thing Ding has in his locker tonight is experience. He's played so many big matches, he's been in big finals, won big tournaments, whereas it is all new to Junhui. So it'd be understandable if the pressure did come on at some point.
Nicely played. Well, I don't know if he's got the most simple escape here. It looks like it shouldn't be a problem, but the left cushion, I think, is blocked off, just running into the bottom couple of reds. Brown's in the way, I think, of the natural angle into it. So what does that leave? Can't run into the right side of the bunch because of the blue being there. Well, he's playing, looking, going twice across, and the cuble's got a long way to travel here. But as I say, the brown stops the just once across to the left side. Oh, he's overdone it by a long way. Even if he hits that red, it's the other red he's leaving, you see. Unless he's been lucky. No. He misjudged that shot. He played, I'm sure, to hit the other red. So the snooker escape did not work out at all.
So Ding just trying to sort of claw himself over the line now in this frame. If he pots the black, he'll be 50 in front. So we'll need 2 of the remaining reds.
8.
For 5-3, which feels like a result because Junhui has really taken the game to him in this session.
9.
Yeah, what does he do here? Does he play on the red down the cushion, I wonder? I mean, I think that they're going in nicely down there. Maybe he's going to try and play a little nudge. I understand why he didn't want to play on the red down the cushion, but the way that these tables are playing, I don't think he'd have missed it.
16.
Rolling it. I can't think that he would have missed it.
Okay.
I can't do anything about the scores. He's looking up and muttering under his breath. I'm not sure what's going on here. But the frame is not over, is what is going on. Not sure what he said there to Peggy Lee.
Junhui, 16.
So a very interesting end to the session coming up. Just about enough on, as you can see, for Junhui. If he were to get a chance, he'd need, of course, blacks with the 4 remaining reds. Oh, hang on, didn't want to go in off. Well, he's left the red on anyway, so it's looking like 5-3, and it sets it up well. Junhui's been the better player, but if Ding can pot this, he's certainly within striking distance coming back this evening. Zhang Kudong yesterday was 5-3 down to Chris Wakely, and that ended in a decider. But a very interesting session. We had this slightly strange start where Ding attempted to play on needing 7 snookers in frame 1. It didn't affect his opponent, who'd made a 69 break. He then made a 137 and a 113. Ding made 119 and 77.
Junhui,
Really good clearance from Junhui in the next. Dominated frame 7, but he needs snookers himself here in frame 8. So this red, if it goes in, surely ends things. Well, it's not in. It's not in. And in a way, I suppose you could argue it's sort of poetic justice if Junhui plays on here. I mean, he should anyway, because he only needs a couple of snookers, but Ding sort of made whatever point he was making in frame 1. Be 2 4-point snookers to tie, 3 to win, but of course the free ball could come into play.
Yeah, I mean, Ding has made a bit of a meal of getting over the line in this frame. He's taken a few leaves, even there where he rolled the red to middle. And, missed his next shot. He's found it quite difficult to get over the winning line. Yes, I think he can get through to the middle red, the top one by the blue. Well, that surely ends this session of snooker now, with all to play for in the evening session.
Yes, they're going to have 2 hours before coming back. And as I say, one factor will be the simple fact that Junhui, or could be, that he's never been in a major final. That's what he's trying to achieve, but he's played very well. He may be a bit disappointed not to be further in front, considering how well he's played. It's all going to come down to who stands up tonight. And Ding very much still in this. It was a big frame for him. Didn't win it cleanly, but he has won it. That's all ultimately he'll care about. All that matters. So, yeah, as I said, they'll have a couple of hours and then the fight to the finish to take on Chris Wakelin in the International Championship final here in Nanjing tomorrow.
$21, $23.
So all the tension is leaving Ding's body, and he'd be more than satisfied to win the frame. OK, it wasn't clean, but doesn't matter, he's won it. So, a fascinating session, and Junhui's played very nicely. He had back-to-back centuries, but Ding Junhui, to the delight of his fans here, is still very much in the second semi-final of the International Championship. Remember, it's first to 9 who goes through to play Chris Wakelin in the final, and it's Junhui in front, but only by 2. 5-3 and all to play for later on today.